Sup peoples, it's 2022, brand new year. I think 2022 is gonna be our year. Anyway, as you can probably see, the background's looking a bit nicer. So yeah, the home studio is starting to feel a bit more like an actual studio. So yeah, good vibes. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at Hex Cougar. Hex Cougar has become one of my favorite artists. Now I got to give a bit of credit to Tiago. He hit me up on Instagram and he said, you should do a Hex Cougar video. And I was like, Hex Cougar? Sick. So yeah, if you're not following me on the Instagram, consider going over there and giving me a follow and maybe send me a cheeky suggestion for a video. Maybe an artist I've never heard of, or a genre, or a style, or anything like that, and might give it a look and it might be my new favorite thing. So I reckon for the next 10 minutes or so we boot up this old FL Studio program and maybe muck around and make some music like Hex Cougar. Alright, here we are, we're in FL Studio. First thing we want to do is get our tempo set. I'm running at 150 BPM. Obviously we're making sort of future bass, future trap type music. So the first thing I've gone and thrown in here is this little vocal slice, vocal chop sort of loop on top of this little lo-fi beat. So I just got these vocal chops from a snippet of an acapella from a Pauline Her song. I stretched it out so it was double the length of the original acapella and I pitched it down so this sounds like this. And then I just went through there and literally just sliced little snippets of this acapella. And pair that with the lo-fi beat. So I'm going to introduce a few more elements to this intro here. I'm going to, of course, chuck in some atmosphere and I'm just going to EQ filter this in, just open it up slowly. I'm also going to bring in some strings and they're just playing a little chord progression like so. And then I'm just going to throw in some impacts just here and there just to add a bit of texture, you know, add something interesting. Alright, next step is to add a vocal. Now I wanted to do something sort of unique with the vocal. I wanted to pair a pitched down vocal with a pitched up vocal. And I'm going to start off with the vocal that is pitched down.
I'm dying to hold you. I want you too much to fight. One of us has to lose. And that's me. And that's right.
So you can see these automation clips here are obviously automating up the delay mix level. I've just thrown on a little bit of delay 3 and that automation is turning this up and then back down. So if you thought you recognized that vocal, it's actually from the song Minded by Balo featuring the vocalist Luma. I couldn't find a good a cappella anywhere, so I did the next best thing, and that was to get my little sister to actually sing the vocal, and now it's in the project. So good work, Emily. Now in this vocal section, I'm going to add a few more things to make it a bit more interesting. I'm going to add a little bass line that is just simple low pass saw bass. I'm going to add an impact in there to introduce the verse. And then I'm going to take more inspiration from the song Burn and I'm going to throw in some big orchestral hits. I'm also going to add a little orchestral snare just sort of rattling away. Then also a hi-hat loop as well. So I'm adding those drums on top of my lo-fi beat, and all those drums together adds a lot of atmosphere and a lot of sort of tension to all the other instruments. Now everything together in this verse sounds nice and full and nice and interesting and very nice moving forward.
Trying to hold you. I want you too much to fight. One of us has to lose, and that's me, and that's right. I see.
Now we've got to try and move towards a drop. I don't want to do a traditional build up here. I want to keep the momentum up with these big cinematic drums and just sort of add some build up drums in there alongside them, tease the drop a little, and then we're going to hit the drop hard. So I've just added a few claps, and they're going to speed up as we move towards the drop. I've also added some kicks to go along with those claps. Another thing I'm going to do is tease my drop elements. So you can see here there's the drop up and the drop lead. I've got a number of automations. These are reverb to make it real spacey, obviously EQ that's cutting the top end and sort of opening up. They're just sort of being introduced really low in the mix, sort of just creeping in as we move towards that drop. This is a build up, so we're going to need lots of sweeps, lots of white noise, lots of tension building elements to really get us hyped up for that drop. And as I mentioned before, I wanted to pair my low vocal with a high vocal. Exactly what I've done here. You can see here is the low vocal.
Wish I could say that I'm minded.
I've got a duplicate, and this one is pitched up, so it is an octave above that low vocal.
Wish I could say that I'm minded. Wish I could say that you don't have control over me.
One other very essential thing I did for this build-up section, Hex Cougar actually does it quite a lot, I've noticed. He sucks all of the energy out of the build-up right at the end. This can be achieved by using an endless smile automation, which is literally just taking out that low end and making everything really narrow and, you know, weak, and also going the other way and cutting off the high end, so you can hear the effect here when everything's open and then it all closes down. So yeah, everything else is staying the same. We're just literally moving towards that drop. We're just throwing everything that we have at it, adding some build-up drums, adding some rises, adding some varied vocals, and teasing our drop elements. Time to get hyped, guys, because we are moving towards that drop. Alright, we're into this drop now. There's no turning back. We're going hard. First things first, I think I'll start off with these drums, because we want to get these drums right. Now, I've just got a nice hard kick. And then I've just got this big snare stack with a range of different snares. And all together, I've made an arrangement and hits pretty hard, must say. So I'm going to pair that kick and snare pattern with some hi-hats, some rides, and a shaker loop. Alright, so getting into what makes this drop, the drop. So this song was actually inspired by the song East Bridge by Hex Cougar, obviously. And in that song you can hear quite a eerie sort of lead and a nice thick bass. So I think we'll start off with the bass because it's reasonably simple. It is simply just a stack of different basses. Put those together and that boy is pretty thick. So So this progression is literally just playing the same progression as what it was playing in the verse. You'll notice that there's a little high bass there. That's just for a little fill. Now for this lead was a problem, man. Took me a long time to get this boy right, but I think we finally have it. So we're gonna roll with it. So this lead, just a little melody I wrote, and it's a big saw sort of stack of leads. You'll notice that that is very reverbed and very, very big sounding. That was the whole design of the sound. So it's going into this lead master bus here, controlling a bit of stereo, distorting it a little, or a lot. Then adding some reverb, and you'll see that this reverb is very wet, not a lot of dry on there. Sort of gives it that airy, spacey sort of feel. You can see this EQ here is cutting a lot of frequencies out. I turn that off, it's probably going to sound like actual arse. Now we could play that bass and we could play those drums together as they are right now. It sounds quite boring to me, don't know about you, but it's not good enough for me. We need to add a little bit of sauce to this boy, this lead boy, I reckon. So we're gonna run that lead into this lead filter, and we're gonna put a few cool little things on it. So one thing I am adding is this LFO tool. That's at a rate of 1/8. You can see the automation for that here. It's gonna start on and then it's gonna come back again. We're just introducing little elements of change, and that LFO is gonna make it stutter. Keep in mind there is a little bit of sidechain going there, but you get the gist of it. Now I have a couple of reverbs on here, and they are just like big reverb sends. You can see this decline is all the way up to 20 seconds. I want this reverb to be huge. After that reverb, I've put an LFO tool at 132 triplet, and that is coming in over here in a little lead gap. Almost sounds like freaking Transformers or some shiz. Another element that I added was this drop up, and that's just playing a recurring pattern. So we're going to spice it up with a few impacts. As we get to the middle of the drop, I've just thrown in a little snippet of my vocal.
Wish I could say that
And then I'm doing this little filter thing again, adding back an endless smile automation, and then doing that low pass filter to cut all the highs off. I'm throwing in this little drum and bass ragdoll type beat. So that is us. That is the end of the Hex Cougar tutorial. New year 2022. Hope it's going to be a good one. Want to thank you guys for the last year. Thanks for watching the vids. Thanks for subscribing to the Patreon and reaching out to me on all the different platforms like SoundCloud, Instagram, wherever you can find me. But anyway, enough talking. You guys probably want to hear what the final result sounds like, so I think I might just play it for you. Enjoy it.
trying to hold